There was a moment in World War II when the German High Command began receiving production reports from across the Atlantic, and the numbers didn't seem real. Thousands of aircraft per month, ships launched faster than U-boats could sink them, tanks rolling off assembly lines in quantities that defied belief. In that moment, somewhere behind closed doors in Berlin, a realization began to take shape. They were no longer fighting nations. They were fighting the industrial heartbeat of the United States of America, and it was unstoppable. When the war erupted in 1939, Nazi Germany appeared to have mastered modern warfare. Blitzkrieg, or lightning war, combined speed, armor, air power, and surprise in a way that stunned the world. Poland fell in weeks. France collapsed in just over a month. The German military machine appeared efficient, disciplined, and technologically advanced. Europe trembled. Even seasoned observers wondered whether the balance of global power had shifted permanently. Across the Atlantic, the United States was not yet at war. The nation was still climbing out of the Great Depression. Isolationist sentiment remained strong. Many Americans believed that the tragedies unfolding in Europe, as horrific as they were, should not pull the country into another foreign entanglement. But history has a way of forcing decisions. On December 7, 1941, the attack on Pearl Harbor ended the debate. It was not only a strike against the Pacific Fleet, it was a direct assault on American identity and security. Within days, the United States declared war. What followed was one of the most extraordinary mobilizations in human history. Factories that once produced refrigerators, automobiles, and farm equipment were transformed almost overnight. Ford's massive Willow Run plant would eventually produce a B-24 Liberator bomber every hour at peak efficiency. Shipyards implemented revolutionary prefabrication techniques, allowing Liberty ships to be assembled in days rather than months. American steel production surged. Oil flowed from Texas and Oklahoma in quantities no Axis power could rival. German intelligence monitored these developments closely. At first, some leaders dismissed the United States as inexperienced and soft. They believed American soldiers lacked the hardened discipline of European armies. But as 1942 turned into 1943, the evidence became impossible to ignore. American convoys crossed the Atlantic relentlessly. U-boats initially inflicted heavy losses, yet American shipbuilding outpaced destruction. For every vessel sunk, several more appeared. In the skies over Europe, the shift became visible. The U.S. Army Air Forces began conducting daylight strategic bombing campaigns against German industrial centers. The B-17 Flying Fortress and B-24 Liberator were heavily armed and built to withstand punishment. Early missions were costly, but American planners adapted. Long-range escort fighters changed the equation. When the P-51 Mustang entered full operational use with extended range capabilities, German pilots faced a new reality. Previously, Luftwaffe fighters could intercept bomber formations and withdraw before escort fighters could engage effectively. Now, American fighters accompanied bombers deep into German airspace and remained with them on the return journey. Air superiority became a grinding contest of attrition, one that Germany could not sustain indefinitely. By 1944, the imbalance was undeniable. Allied bombing campaigns disrupted oil production, transportation networks, and manufacturing hubs. Synthetic fuel plants were targeted with increasing precision. The Luftwaffe, once dominant, struggled to replace experienced pilots lost in combat. American training programs, meanwhile, produced a steady stream of aviators supported by vast logistical networks. On the ground, the pattern repeated. The M4 Sherman tank, often criticized in post-war comparisons against heavier German armor such as the Panther and Tiger, was not designed to win duels in isolation. It was designed to function within a system. It was reliable. It was mechanically simpler. It could be transported, repaired, and replaced efficiently. American armored doctrine emphasized coordination with infantry, artillery, and air support. War had become integrated. Then came June 6, 1944, D-Day. Operation Overlord was not only a military gamble, it was a logistical masterpiece. More than 150,000 Allied troops landed in Normandy in a single day. Thousands of ships, landing craft, and aircraft coordinated in one of the most complex operations ever attempted. German defenses were formidable, yet they could not compensate for the overwhelming material and organizational strength backing the invasion. Behind every advancing American unit stood supply lines stretching across the Atlantic. Fuel pipelines were laid under the English Channel. Artificial harbors were constructed to ensure continuous unloading of cargo. Trucks moved in constant rotation through the Red Ball Express, delivering ammunition, food, and spare parts. The German army, fighting on multiple fronts and under constant aerial attack, simply could not match this scale of sustainment. Meanwhile, in the Pacific, American forces demonstrated a similar combination of firepower and logistics. Aircraft carriers became floating airfields capable of projecting power across vast distances. The island-hopping campaign steadily advanced towards Japan, supported by submarines that crippled Japanese shipping lanes. Industrial production once again proved decisive. American shipyards replaced losses at rates unimaginable in 1941. Yet perhaps the most dramatic example of technological advancement came from a project so secret that even Vice President Harry Truman was unaware of its full scope until he became president. The Manhattan Project gathered scientists, engineers, and military leaders in a race to unlock atomic energy. Facilities in Los Alamos, Oak Ridge, and Hanford operated under intense secrecy. Billions of dollars were invested in research that pushed the boundaries of physics. When atomic bombs were dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki in August 1945, the world entered a new era. The destructive power was unprecedented. The ethical debates continue to this day, but from a purely strategic perspective, it represented the culmination of American scientific and industrial mobilization. For many German officers who survived the war, post-war reflections revealed a common theme. They had underestimated America. They viewed the United States as economically powerful, but militarily inexperienced. They did not fully grasp how quickly American industry could convert peacetime production into wartime dominance. The war in Europe ended in May 1945. Berlin fell. The Third Reich collapsed. American soldiers witnessed the horrors of concentration camps, confirming the moral stakes of the conflict. Victory was not only territorial, it was ideological. For older generations of Americans, this period is not abstract. It is remembered in black and white photographs, ration books, letters from overseas, and factory shifts that lasted through the night. It was a time when neighbors planted victory gardens and bought war bonds. It was a time when innovation and sacrifice converged. World War II demonstrated that technological advancement alone does not guarantee victory. It must be paired with production capacity, training, coordination, and national resolve. Germany possessed advanced engineering and formidable weapons, but it lacked the economic depth and secure resource base that the United States commanded. In the final analysis, the shock felt by German leadership was not simply about one aircraft, one tank, or one weapon. It was about scale. It was about the realization that the United States could replace losses, innovate under pressure, and sustain global operations across two major theaters simultaneously. And when that realization settled in, the outcome of the war was no longer a question of if, but when. For those watching today, especially those who grew up hearing stories from fathers and grandfathers who served, this history carries weight. It is a reminder of what coordinated effort, industrial strength, and determination can accomplish in the face of global threat. The skies over Europe once darkened with American aircraft. The oceans carried American convoys without end. The factories roared day and night. And in that overwhelming convergence of steel, science, and sacrifice, the
the course of history was forever changed.